Well, good morning. It's been a little while since I posted a video, and yeah, a lot has changed down the lake since then. Obviously, we've kicked off the new season. We've had all our new members join up, so the lake's getting busy. And when I say busy, it might not be busy in comparison to what some people might call busy, but there's definitely a few regular anglers here at the moment, a few more than what there was last year. Busy for us is, I was one of 3 people on the lake last night, so not busy by carp fishing standards, but busy by Longside standards. But yeah, as I say, I've not been in contact for a while, and to be honest, I've got nothing to report of my own. Still blanking, but to be honest, I'm spending more time every time I come down here doing bits and doing a bit of work than anything else. We've accomplished a lot in the last few weeks. A lot of jobs that we sort of needed to get on top of before the season opened, the new ticket started for people, and there's still a few little jobs here and there, but I'm quite happy with the progress we've made, and the progress that some of the fish are making. So to take you through what we've done, so one of the swims that hasn't been open for a while, we opened that up. So that was 2 days spent on the chainsaws and diggers and dumpers, just basically chopping trees up, taking them out of the water, bringing snags out of the water. So now we've got an entirely new swim open, which is good. It opens up a section of the lake that was previously not fishable from anywhere else, so I'd imagine that'll probably see some fish at some point this year. What else do we do? Part of the track around this south end, we've raised up, so we were having problems over the last couple of years with flooding, where the track was quite low around the lake. Of course, we've got a drainage ditch behind, sort of goes around behind the lake, and over the course of the winter, it would quite often flood between the lake and the ditch, and vice versa. So now we've raised one of the areas that it floods up, and also widened the track a little bit further down so that we can get some machinery down there in the future. We've still got one bit to fill in, but on the day the intention was to get it all done, but unfortunately it was just that bit too wet to be able to get all the stuff down there, and the track was getting too ripped up, so we did what we could, and we'll probably save the rest of it for this time next year. What else did we do? We resurfaced the entire car park and the entrance road. That was a job that's definitely needed to be done for a little while, because there was quite a few potholes here and there. So we had something like 200 tons of scalpings delivered, and spent 3 days spreading all of that out and rollering it, and now it's looking really nice. And just a few other little odd jobs here and there that we needed to tidy up and just sort of do before the season opened, but I won't bore you too much with that. Moving on to the fish. So as I say, I did last night, and I blanked again last night, but it's not unheard of on here, especially not unheard of for me. I did last night, one of 3. I don't think anyone else has caught, to be honest with you, but I'm yet to walk around and have a chat, so you never know. I've seen the first one this year that I can guarantee was a carp. That was about a week ago. I think it was last week or the week before. yeah, real clattered out the water, and it must have been, I don't know, 8-9 o'clock at night, and that was the first sign where I sort of went, yeah, okay, there's definitely a carp there. Of course, didn't catch anything, but yeah. But over the last few weeks, there have been a few more fish out. Obviously, I had one, the first one this year, back in February, start of February, which was one of our stockies that had put on, I think it put on 3 pounds since we put it in, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it went in September, and yeah, it's put on 3 pound, so it's a good growth rate. As far as I know, there's been 4 other fish out since then, 3 stockies and one of the originals. So the original that came out was the half-lin, and that was looking pucker. It's the first time I've seen fish on the bank, so it was really nice to see that fish, and really great for the member who caught it. I'm sure he was chuffed to bits. The other 3 fish, so one of them was a fish I realised after talking to John last night that I've caught. I think I caught it twice last year, and it's not done a great deal of weight, but it's put on enough weight that we're quite happy with it. And they are those particular fish, or that particular fish is one of the smaller ones and slower growers that we've stocked in so far, but more of a pretty fish, let's say. So yeah, that one's looking nice and healthy. But the other 2 that have really surprised John and I are 2 of the fish that we got from 5-star fisheries. They've put on an incredible amount of weight over the course of, I don't even think it's 18 months. I think they were stocked in December 2024. Respectively, I think one of the fish has put on £10 and the other one's put on £11. So they're now low 20s, and if they're anything to go by, you can think that the rest of the ones from 5-star are probably around a similar sort of weight. So we've got a few more 20s in here this year than what we had last year, and yeah, it's the future's looking bright. There's obviously an incredible amount of naturals in here, and that was only reinforced by when we were dragging trees out, the amount of mussels and little invertebrates and bloodworm covering all the stuff that was in the water. It just goes to show, like, we are, as anglers on here, trying to get the fish to eat our bait. They definitely don't need to eat it, and the growth rates that we've seen, like, they obviously don't need to eat it. So yeah, you're sort of fighting a losing battle. You're fishing a big pit, low stock. That was a fish who's just rolled. I don't know, that might have been a tench. See a lot of that on here. There's yet to be a tench caught, but that didn't look like a carp to me. Something smaller. I've seen now 3 shows over the course of the last night. There's a second one just in front of me. I've seen one a bit further across the lake as well. So I'm not that far away from them, I don't think. But yeah, that one looked like a tent show, to be honest with you. It's hard to tell when you sort of just catch them out the corner of your eye, and no one's caught a tench, no one's seen a tench in here, to be honest. But they've got to be in here. But I do say to people, if you catch a tench out of here, you're probably luckier than you are to catch a carp. I think as it stands, we've probably got around, I guess, 50 carp in here. We've stocked in roughly 40, and there is probably 10 to 15 originals, being conservative. Obviously the lake's throwing up new surprises every time, so there's a good chance it could be more, but yeah, it's not had the angling pressure to actually throw up many fish. When you fish in a lake that's got so many naturals in it, you're fighting a losing battle as it is. And then if there's no feet on the ground, if there's people not fishing it, then there's even less of a chance of them eating anglers' baits, because they just don't have to. I've got a few plans for the next few weeks. I am a little bit disappointed that I've not had anything, to be honest with you, as you would be, but it is a little bit disappointing, because I'm doing things that I was doing last year and fishing areas that I was fishing last year and not catching when I was catching last year. Now, maybe it's just me, it's obviously I'm fishing them when the fish ain't there. I'm going to spend a bit more time walking around and looking this year than what I did last year. A lot of my fishing last year was literally just dropping in for quick overnighters and managing to nick a bite. This year I'm going to do a bit more baiting, a bit more walking, a bit more looking, and I think I'll have more of a chance. And to be honest, I think that style of fishing suits this lake anyway, because the fish are on the move. There's not a great deal of them. If you ain't where they are, you ain't going to catch. But that, combined with the fact that there's definitely a higher footfall of anglers on here this year, I think that it would be silly to sit there and go, I'm going to go in that swim, I'm always going to go in that swim, because you might not get it. Now, like I say, going back to it, it's not busy down here, but it's definitely busier than it has been. And I think the captures of fish so far have sort of reflected that. Last year there was a few people fishing it in the spring, and then throughout the summer and the autumn and the winter there was next to no one. I think the majority of the time I came down to the lake I had it to myself. So with that little angling pressure, it can often work against you, because the fish aren't seeing a lot of bait. They don't have to eat it, they're avoiding it, and anyone who goes carp fishing knows that as soon as you start making a bit of disturbance, whether it just be casting out, if there's any fish in that area, a lot of the time they're just going to go elsewhere. So I think if they're seeing a lot more bait and a lot more angling pressure around the lake from other people, they're more likely to slip up. But we'll see. I've got a couple of nights this weekend. I've got a bit more work to do down the lake. We'll see how I get on over this weekend. Catch up with you soon. Maybe next time you see me, I'll have a fish. But don't get too excited.